A star shines brightly, but that very light casts long shadows behind the glamorous stage. Kim Taehyung, known to the world as V of BTS, is not just an idol, he is a symbol of artistic freedom, often colliding with the machinery of the industry. Behind the smile that captivates millions lies a story of choices, sacrifices, and battles few dare to speak of. His relationship with HYBE, the massive agency that raised him, is far more complex than the simple dynamic between artist and company. Every photo, every post, every small step he shares with the public carries more weight than mere aesthetics. Behind the scenes are long negotiations about image, career direction, and even how much freedom an artist should be granted in self-expression. Often, Taehyung stands at a crossroads. Should he follow the great current dictated by the system, or fight to preserve his own soul? Every smile in front of the camera may appear effortless, yet behind it lie countless dilemmas hidden from the public eye. HYBE, with its enormous power and control, naturally seeks to keep the BTS brand intact, stable, and shielded from turbulence. But Taehyung, with his free artistic spirit, is always searching for room to breathe, to create, and to speak his own language. The collision of these two great forces, an all-controlling corporation and an artist who refuses to be confined, creates an almost invisible yet deeply felt tension. This story is not merely about contracts and rules, but about the price of freedom in the global entertainment world. There are moments behind the curtain when Taehyung must remain silent, though his heart longs to scream. Sometimes even a simple Instagram post becomes a subtle act of resistance against a narrative that wishes to control him. Fans may only see the final result, beautiful photos, captivating videos, or polished commercials. But few know that each of these details might have been the subject of long discussions, even heated debates, behind closed doors. Taehyung never stops testing boundaries, he simply chooses subtler, quieter, yet powerful ways. He knows that open conflict carries high risks, but total silence would mean losing himself. Every artwork he shares, every expression in a commercial is part of an invisible dialogue with his agency. HYBE may want to present a safe, polished, and controlled version of him, but Taehyung insists on showing his raw, emotional, and unpredictable self. This conflict creates a compelling narrative, a silent struggle between commercial power and creative spirit. For Taehyung, protecting his identity is not just a desire but a necessity to survive as an artist. At every performance, one unspoken question remains: is this the real Taehyung, or a system-polished version? Behind the scenes, this story unfolds like a long drama full of emotional tension. At times HYBE seems to have full control, and at other times Taehyung finds ways to leave his personal mark. Perhaps this is why fans feel his depth so strongly, because every expression, every pose is not just performance but a statement. The story of Taehyung vs. HYBE is not an open war, but a delicate dance between compromise and self-determination. And behind it all, one thing is clear: there is a greater story yet to be told, the story of an artist fighting to keep his voice alive in a relentless industry. From his debut with BTS, Taehyung showed a different side. He was not just a singer with a melodic voice and attractive face, but an artist longing for space to express himself. In the early years, this difference seemed like a sweet uniqueness that added spice to the group. But over time, the difference became more pronounced, eventually colliding with the company's overarching interests. HYBE, the agency behind BTS, has a vested interest in maintaining a unified group image. Each member must appear harmonious, polished, and aligned with the overarching narrative. Yet Taehyung never fully fit into this mold. He prefers the gray areas, spaces where he can create the unexpected, even at the risk of being labeled inappropriate. This is evident in his use of social media. While other members often post safe, controlled content that aligns with the group's image, Taehyung prefers artistic portraits, cryptic captions, or simple yet meaningful photos. To some, these are ordinary posts. But to those who understand, they are statements that he wishes to be seen as himself, not merely as a cog in the BTS machine. Tensions grew as Taehyung embarked on solo projects. HYBE naturally wanted each project to flow seamlessly into its grand strategy, but Taehyung often injected his personal touch, sometimes deviating from the set formula. In the Compose coffee commercial, for instance, he turned every frame into an artwork with his own emotional storytelling, rather than just modeling. This was clearly not a conventional approach but a subtle resistance against a system that was too rigid. Such conflicts are never aired publicly, but their vibrations can be felt. There is a reason why fans often sense something behind Taehyung's seemingly simple smile. There is energy, emotion, and a hidden story that doesn't fully align with the company's narrative. Still, Taehyung's relationship with HYBE cannot be seen only as conflict. It is a two-sided bond, a company trying to protect its greatest asset, and an artist fighting to keep his soul alive. It is a tug-of-war filled with compromises but also collisions. Fans speculate that Taehyung sometimes restrains himself to avoid stirring storms in the fragile industry. Yet he always finds ways to send subtle signs of resistance, through expression, words, or visual art. All of this underlines one truth: he will never lose his identity. At the same time, HYBE is aware that it is precisely this uniqueness that makes Taehyung so beloved. They may attempt to limit him, but they also know his global appeal rests on an authenticity that cannot be manufactured. That is their greatest dilemma. How do you control something that shines precisely because of its freedom? The story of Taehyung vs. HYBE is not about mortal enemies, but about the constant tension between system and individual, between massive corporate interests and the voice of the heart. And therein lies its appeal, a real-life drama that few ever truly witness. This story has no ending yet. Each time Taehyung posts a new photo, speaks in an interview, or stands on stage, the same question arises: is this the managed Taehyung or the real Taehyung? And that is why his journey means more than just a music career to his devoted fans. It is the story of an artist fighting to keep his voice alive, even against the giant that raised him. Behind all the spotlight, Taehyung remains a man who wants to be heard, not just seen. He is not just a face on billboards or a voice on grand stages. He is an artist who cannot be defined solely by contracts or corporate strategies. His relationship with HYBE is paradoxical, both a source of opportunity and a wall of limitation. Yet in the cracks of that wall, Taehyung finds ways to shine in his own way. Every work, every smile, every post is part of his quiet resistance, not through shouting but through aesthetics. Not through confrontation but through authenticity. This is Taehyung's language of resistance, understood only by those who truly pay attention. For fans, this story is more than celebrity gossip. It reflects how an individual preserves their identity within a system that tries to standardize everything. To the world, it may seem like a small fragment of a star's journey. But to those who love him, it is a grand tale of courage, the courage to remain oneself. The big question remains: how long will this tug-of-war last? Will Taehyung one day be completely free to choose his own path? Or will this tension forever remain part of the mystery that makes him so fascinating? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: Taehyung has shown the world that true beauty emerges when an artist dares to preserve his voice, even when facing the giant that created him. And that is why the story of Taehyung vs. HYBE will be remembered, not as a destructive conflict, but as a legend of courage, freedom, and art that refuses to be silenced. Ultimately, the story of Taehyung vs. HYBE is not just about an artist and his agency. It is the true portrait of an artist fighting for his identity in a system determined to mold him by industry standards. Taehyung has shown that true beauty does not come from mere obedience, but from the courage to remain authentic. Every smile, every glance, every work of his is proof that his voice cannot be silenced. And perhaps it is this very tug-of-war that makes Taehyung so special. He is not just an idol, but a legend writing his own story, a story still unfinished, with the next chapter yet to be revealed. This is not a tale of open rebellion. Taehyung never stands on stage and shouts defiantly. No. His resistance speaks in quiet whispers, in Instagram posts laden with hidden meaning, in the gaze of his eyes that hold 1,000 unspoken words.